Is she to be buried in Christian burial when she willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it Christian burial.
How can that be unless she is drowned herself in her own defense?
Why 'tis found so?
It must be set offendo, it cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. And an act hath three branches. It is an act to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, good man Delver.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man goes to this water and drown himself, it is while he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he is that not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, marry, it's crowner quest law.
Will you have the truth on it? If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Why there thou say, and the more pity the great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than even the Christian. Come my spade, there's no ancient gentlemen but gardeners, ditchers, and grave markers. They hold up Adam's profession.
What, he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why he had none?
What art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is that he builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well. In good faith, the gallows does well, but how does it well? It does it well to those who do ill. Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church, Argal. The gallows may do these well. To it again come.
Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, and unyoke.
Marry, now I can tell.
To it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Righto.
Is no more about it. For your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And when you ask this next question, say a grave digger, a grave marker. The houses that he makes last till doomsday. Go get in thee. Fetch thee that sip of liquor.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business, that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made him property of business.
'Tisn't so. The hand of little employment hath the daintier sense.
But age with his sealing steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into this land have never been such.
The skull that had a tongue in it and could sing once, how the knave jowls to the ground as if were Cain's jawbone, that did the first murder. It might be the plate of a politician, which this ass now overreaches. One would not circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier, which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, sweet lord? This might be, my lord, such a one that praised my lord. Such a one's horse that when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why and so, and now my lady worms, chapless and knocked about the mazet with sexton spade. Here fine revolution, if we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more breeding, but to play at loggets with them? Mind age think to what?
A pickaxe and spade, a spade for a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made for such a guest as meet.
There's another. Why may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddits now, his quillets, his cases, his tenures and his tricks? Why does he suffer the rude knave now to knock him about the sconets with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? Hum, this fellow might be in time a great buyer of land, with his statues, his recognizes, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines and the recovery of his recoveries? To have this fine plate full of fine dirt? Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his land will hardly lie in this box. And must the inheritor himself have no more, Hop?
Not a joke more, my lord.
Is not parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, of calfskins too.
They are sheeps and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is that, sir?
Mine, sir? Oh, pit of clay for to be made for such a guest as me.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out on, sir, and therefore it is not yours? For my part, I do not lie, yet is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it, and say is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore in liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir, to away gain me from you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who's to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she is dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these 3 years I have taken note of it. The age is grown so picked that the toe of a peasant comes so near the heels of the courtier, he galls his kite. How long hast thou been gravemaker?
All of the days is the year. I came to that day that our last king Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He is mad and sent into England.
Aye, marry. Why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, there no great matter there.
Why?
Why? Because there were no sin in him there. There are men as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, and with losing his veins.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie in the earth here he rot?
Faith, if he had not been rotten before he die, as well as many pocky horses nowadays that will scarce hold the lying in. He will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that he will keep out of the water a great while, and your water is a sore decay of your wholesome dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth for 23 years.
Whose was it?
A whoreson mad fellow it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him, for a mad rogue. He poured a flagon of wretchedness on my head once. The same skull, sir, was your skull, the king's gesture.
This?
And that.
Let me see it. Alas, poor York, I knew him. Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy, he hath bore me on his back 1,000 times, and how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not oft. Where be your gyves now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were once at the table on a roar? No one now to mock your own jeering, quite chop-fallen. Now get you to my lady's chamber and tell her that her paint an inch thick to this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander look of this fashion of the earth?
Ain't so.
And smell so? Pah!
Ain't so, my lord.
To what base uses may we return, Horatio? May not that imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere consider too curiously, and consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither with modesty enough, and likelihood to lead it as thus. Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth to dust. The dust is of the earth, of earth we make loam. And why of that loam whereto he was converted might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to the clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter's flaw, but soft aside.
Here comes the king. The queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow, and which such maimed rites? This doth betoken the course they follow did with desperate hand fordo its own life. 'Twas of some estate. Crouch we while and mark.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranty. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command o'erweighs the order. She should in ground unsanctified be lodged, till the last trumpet for charitable prayers shards, flints and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin rites, her maiden struments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there be no more done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead, to sing sage requiem and such rest to her as to peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest down.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweet to the sweet, farewell. I hope thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought a bride bed to have deck, sweet maid, and have not stewed the grive.
O treble woe, fall 10 times treble on the cursed head, whose wicked deed thou most ingenious sense deprived of thee. Hold off the earth awhile, to have caught her once more in mine arms. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till all of this flat a mountain you have made. To overtop old Pelion in the sky shed of blue
What is he whose griefs bear such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wondering stars and makes them stand? Like wonder-wounded heroes, this is I, Hamlet the Dane. Devil, take thyself. Oh no!
Thou prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not splintative and rash, yet I have something in me dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear. Hold off thy hand.
Pluck them asunder!
Hamlet, Hamlet!
Good, my lord, be quiet!
Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not make with all their quantity of love make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbid him!
Come, show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would tear thyself, would drink up Esel, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground singing his plate against the burning zone make also like a wart. Nay, and thou'lt mouth, I'll rant thou as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus while the fit will work on him, anon the patient as thy female dove, when that their golden couplets is disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may, the cat will mew, and the dog will have his day.
I pray thee, good Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your practice in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall never have a living monument. An hour of quiet thereby shall we see. Till then, impatient, our proceeding be.
I'm Ophelia!
Prayest not well. I prithee, take thy fingers from my throat, for though I am not splintative and rash... Dang it.
Lord, be quiet!
Go. That is Laertes, a very noble youth.
Dan, you're not...